Welcome to Folio, an actual play podcast about solo and epistolary TTRPGs. I'm your host, Satah, and I'm showcasing multiple possible experiences of self-paced games by inviting guests to play them alongside me so I can compile our stories together. You can support the show financially at patreon.com/foliopod or with a one-off donation at ko-fi.com/foliopod. One last reminder that this show is going to be removed from Spotify distribution around the end of August. This will likely be the last episode on the Spotify feed, so you can keep up with the show through another podcatcher. Thanks! This is episode 3 of our games of Friendly Neighborhood Superhero, a solo RPG about protecting, befriending, and improving a community by Cat Scratcher Studio. The other two cordial stomping ground saviors joining me today are Gwen Frankenstien and Jeff Stormer.
All right, rise and shine.
Here we go. Day 2. We're starting it the exact same way. I'm going to roll a d6, get a snapshot of Kelvin's day-to-day life. In this case, it is 3. It is on his day job. What is Kelvin doing in his day job? I mentioned a lot of odd job stuff, but I think that's just sort of his off hours. I think he works at the docks. That feels good. That feels logical. He's a dock worker. That's a good working class city job.
How did the day start? I was on my day job when suddenly, yeah, that makes sense. So I'm back at the cafe. And was it a crime or a neighbor needing help? I rolled a 1, so it's a crime. We're starting my day off with crime.
Good morning, Golden Pastures. Today we are solving a crime first thing in the AM.
Let's see, who is this? This is a bloodthirsty mercenary. Is trying to build a doom device through ninja masters? Laser traps.
A time-traveling warlord who is trying to rob a science facility with an army of robots. So that makes me think that this person is time displaced from the future. Yeah? Yeah. Oh, what if they're I think they're trying to rob the science facility to steal the technology that allows them to time travel. Oh-ho.
So he is, unloading a cargo ship when something happens. That is another 6, so that is another neighbor in need. In this case, our neighbor in need is... I'm going to do my thing where I roll 3d20 and kind of assign results, because I think that's a little bit more my speed. Here we have a 20, a 3, and a 16. So this is a protective entrepreneur building a project. Okay, see, now that's very interesting. I just kind of read those straight. I didn't do any rearranging, and that's very interesting because that means that we get to introduce a shady CEO. I'm going to roll D6 here. 4. They're an adult, so this is a CEO of a shady corporation that is launching a project. And I think this is specifically day job work in service of... You know what? We're wearing our references on our sleeves here. This is the Cronenberg Foundation, which is a large organization within within Bell City. The Cronenberg Foundation is launching a project, and they are unloading high-tech security equipment, or computers and things are being loaded off a cargo hold. There's a lot of manual lifting of heavy boxes and things, and I think that's exactly where we are starting.
A bloodthirsty mercenary is trying to build a doom device with laser traps. Okay. I think this is somebody who is... This involves the telescope. I think the mercenary isn't trying to literally specifically build the doom device. They are trying to take over the telescope so that it can be turned into a doom device. They've been hired to do that, to do the muscly bloody parts. So I'm at the cafe, and somebody ordered a coffee to stay, and then they check their phone and they go, can I get that to go? Actually, looks like there's an incident at the telescope. And they're weirdly chill about it, but I know that they are a high-ranking person, and so if they're being called in, it's a big deal. And so I give them their coffee to go. I run into the back. I tell my boss that I'm gonna go to the store to pick up more oat milk, and she's like, okay, no problem. She's chill as hell. She rules. Change into my costume, and dart around to meet the person who got their coffee to go to be like, hey, I heard there was trouble. Can I get a ride? And they're like, yeah, sure. Actually, yeah. Yeah, it's not a bad idea. And we walk to their car and get in their car and go to the telescope. To quite a scene. So this mercenary has taken over this whole telescope, and there's lasers.
All right, so we are outside Golden Pastures College. Name them and Professor Jennings, because I'm tired of naming everybody Jenkins. Professor Jennings is outside. I don't understand what has occurred. We have these infrared sensor that should time traveler. He's lazy. Attempts to break into the facility. Perhaps, I suggest, the being in time attempted to enter your lab. Back with him. Off a conventional heat signature. So basically, he's making paradoxes. We don't like paradox robots, Professor. Talking about robots. In the fabric of... I see. Now, one would need to have a... like in our cute suburban cul-de-sac. Poochie here pulls out a small robot dog from their pocket. Oh my god, Professor. That... Of course, all week. Haven't you heard about the new wonderful robot dogs from Impressionist House? That's where I be as dog. I looked around and saw an impressionist art print from identical looking They're all the rage. It's like a personal assistant and a smartphone and a cute fun animal companion all in one. Renfield starts growling. Yes, for some reason, real animals seem quite perturbed by my new pal. Pastures College. We require your assistance at your discretion as soon as you are personally able. Oh yes, of course, Professor. We will be there in a moment. And I'm gonna flip my bracelet around, flip my buddy's collar around, put on my hooded cloak, blue of course, and head over to the college.
So we arrive at the telescope, and yeah, it is a situation. A lot of the scientists and workers are outside looking forlornly at it, and they're like, we can't get in. I think that the laser traps are in part just natural security systems. Like I'm picturing at some point in this, I'm going to have to do the classic heist movie acrobating through the lasers thing. Maybe even quickly. Maybe that's the first thing I have to do. Yeah, in order to even get in telescope. Yeah, we haven't quite arrived yet. I want to do a heart roll here to gives me a look like a tiny smile. And I was like, you said you wanted to get in, right? And I'm like, I sure did. You are technically a civilian, whatever. And I'm going to try and convince them to trust me, to let me in to the telescope. How do I get them to trust me? What is it I'm saying? I think that when I'm in hero mode, when I'm orbit, I pretend that my mothers are my colleagues. And so I think one of the things I'm going to do here is say like, alien mom thinks very highly of you. I know that you used to work together. Or, yeah, she worked with you. I think she probably worked with this person's parent. She's older. I think she's got alien lifespan. But yeah, just trying to make a connection with this person to trust, to show that they can trust me. I'm trying to think if there's a way that I can invoke my signature ability here. I was gonna say that I could do it to if this person was like, oh, you know those two? And I could say oh yeah, they're the ones who taught me how to control this, and make something orbit my hand. And they say something referencing all of the destruction in the city the day before. They're like, yikes, I'd hate to see those powers uncontrolled. And I sort of laugh and flush a tiny bit. And I'm like, I mean, yeah, me too. So I feel like that's a fair invocation of my signature ability with this roll. So I'm going to roll 3d6, and one of them has to be a 5 or 6. 1, 6, 4. Okay, yay. So, progress. They trust me. They're going to let me into the telescope.
Our shadowy CEO Crystal Cronenberg. Crystal is very aggressively meddling in the whole process. Crystal is being a CEO. There's really no other way to describe it. Because this person is protective, that means that heart is there. We have to roll heart or else it is resisted. I think if she's like ordering people around, I think that Kelvin's immediate response is just to like get in there and try and like lift boxes and make this go as quickly as possible. So I'm going to roll power. I don't think it's going to exactly go how we want it to go. Sure enough, that's a 1. So that is exactly not how we want it to go, which means I'm going to mark a point of destruction. That is a second point of destruction. And frankly, like, I think that what that looks like is like Kelvin drops a box, like a box of computer equipment and like gets an earful. I'm not going to take an experience. I'm going to take an extra die roll because I think like the play here, the thing that's fun here is if she and her middle managers and her various like associates are like really like grilling people, I think it's fun to de-escalate a situation and like prevent a fight from breaking out. So I'm going to roll heart, 5s or 6s, 2 dice. That's a pair of 3s. Great. Good. Okay. So that escalates things even further. That's going to be a point of misreading.
Professor, I know that the quantum physics part of the college and the computer engineering faculty don't always get along, but have you maybe discussed the use of this new technology with any of your colleagues? Why, I hardly think that's necessary. What do they know about... Well, they know about robots. Like, that they are probably recording us right now and probably could, transmit the passcode to your lab to somebody nefarious. Honestly, it's like it's your first day in Golden Pastures. You've been here for ages. Don't you have tenure? Come on, buddy. You know we got all kinds of weird things going on here. And you trust a random brand new robot you just bought from the store? I did mention that heart is my dump stat, right? Yeah. Not good at talking to people.
I'm going to use skill, because this is precision for sure, to try and get past these lasers at the entrance. And I am using my signature ability. Lasers are resistant to skill. So I'm going to roll 3d6, and I have to roll a 6. 1, 3, 6. Yes. So I get an extra experience for succeeding on a resisted roll, and I get a progress.
Oh, but Poochie isn't like those other technological devices. He's not really. He can do things that a smartphone could never dream of. It's bleeding edge technology. It's like it's ahead of its time. Oh no. They both look at each other in the sudden realization that there's been some wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff, shenanigans. Oh no.
People are being fired? I think that like a shoving match breaks out between like a Cronenberg Foundation employee and one of these dock workers, which leads, of course, to a real crisis that unfolds, which is they bring in a private like shipping team, and that's non-union labor, and that's not gonna fly.
Well, Professor, at least we have one thing on our side. Quantum stuff, time stuff, that is your wheelhouse, much more than, no offense, operational security. So you're saying that I need to trace the quantum signature of Poochie? I mean, that wasn't what I was saying, because I don't know what a quantum signature is, but it sounds like it could help. And the professor is gonna put their little robot chihuahua into some bizarre Jack Kirby looking machine. When I say go, press this. No, not the red one. This little blue triangular button. All right? Sure. Shouldn't we have like... Yes, safety goggles. Never forget your safety goggles, children. Yes, indeed, staring directly at the camera. And we put on our safety gear. And we roll mind, I guess, for using a science machine? No, I think we roll We roll skill? I don't know. We roll skill. We lose.
So now there are like Pinkerton-esque Men in Black suits, like we're like shoving people off of the docks and kind of like escorting and like leading sort of a third-party fulfillment team to kind of like take over the work, and that's not gonna go great, especially because I think that the second that one of these guys like touches a box or touches a piece of machinery, that machinery is gonna overheat and is going to start sparking, and that's gonna be a safety thing that's gonna take them taken off of the facility. Which is to say, that's 5 dice. This is skill. This is opposed. I'm using my signature ability at level 2. I need a 6. That's a 3, 2, 1, and 2 6s. We are set. We are golden. There's a progress. But I think that what has occurred here is like the second that fire goes off, the second that like something erupts, like there's a crisis. And I'm going to escalate this a little bit and say, like, there is a bit of a fight that breaks out. Like, people start rushing to put out the fire, and then, you know, security guards start, like, blocking people. People start throwing hands, and there is, like, a fight that is going to break out. And I think this is going to be a chance for Kelvin to duck out, put on like a proper orange and, you know, black and blue costume. It's got that very classic, that cinema, that 2015 cinema poster, orange and blue combo with some black, like it's ball piping around black leather, alongside like I think a face mask with a kind of like thermal technology similar to Rorschach's mask in Watchmen, but like that lights up sort of red and blue depending on like a temperature thing, that like as he kind of evokes this power it switches colors. That's very cool. I like that evocative imagery. It's very leather jacket focused. It's very in the 90s superhero in a leather jacket with piping underneath ensemble, and I think that's very good.
I've never seen results quite like this before. I don't know quite how to interpret this. I think we can solve this one on our own, McShepherd. Thank you for your assistance. Damn. We've damaged $1 trillion lab technology, and everyone in town has robot chihuahuas that I don't trust. Not to mention, something was stolen from the quantum lab last night. Damn. What shall we do? Well, I guess while I'm on campus, what if I take Poochie the robot chihuahua? No copyright infringement intended, by the way, if Poochie the robot dog from the 90s is, like, still around somehow. That's just the name I give all robot dogs. Professor, I know you really like your, no, you know what? Never mind. Someone else will have one. I am going to get a Poochie from somewhere, and then I'm going to take it to the Comp Sci Lab, see if they can figure out what's really going on here. I think at this point, the easiest way to go about getting one, rather than coercing one out of somebody, considering how low my heart stat is to just go to the campus bookstore and buy one. Yeah, I know. Buy it on credit. By the time I have to pay for it, hopefully the company won't exist anymore.
So yeah, I managed to, using my gravity parkour skills, get past the lasers at the entrance. I'm inside. And I think I'm going to want to turn those off. But first, the bloodthirsty mercenary... Does the mercenary have goons, or is it just the single mercenary? I think just the mercenary, particularly just ruthless person who's been sent in to clear this place out and get some equipment in place. And as I go over to turn these lasers, this security off, she like grabs my hand and her eyes like flash and she's like, interesting. Didn't think anybody'd be able to get by there. And I'm gonna try and just send her into the wall. Basically, like she's touching me, so I can kind of influence her with my powers a bit and just shove her away, which is going to be a power roll, most certainly. Extra die from my ability, so I'm rolling 3d6, need a 5 or a 6. 3, 6, and a 1. Yay, okay. I'm up to 3 progress.
He's costuming up. There's a fight breaking out, and he's going to use... I think that he's just going to, like, cause a large enough explosion to try and, like, scatter this entire facility. So that's a power roll. That's a signature ability. So 2 dice plus 1 dice for power, and I'm trying to roll a 6. That's a 1, 2, 3. Great. That's more destruction. The place is now actively on fire. I think that the docks this is a crisis that is unfolding. And I think the natural logical step is that Crystal Cronenberg is, like, in the fire. And I think I'm going to roll 5 dice here. This is full power. And we are going to try and, like, save her using skill plus power. We're trying to get a 6. That is, oh my god, how is that 5 dice without a single 6? Okay, great. I can add a single d6 to this, or I can take a point of discredit. I'm going to roll if I do this, I'm going to lose 2 points of discredit. But for a single, like a 1 in 6 chance, I think I'm just going to take the 1 point of discredit. As he's rushing through the fire, like, oh, he gets tackled by a security guard. Like, he's wrapped up in a fight now, and now he's, like, actively trying to, like, punch his way through the fight and punch his way through the fire.
Go to the store, buy a dog, bring the dog to the computer lab. Now I get to come up with another wacky professor voice. I think that the computer professor is going to have a very annoying nasal voice. So, Professor, I'm sure you have similar concerns to me. I promise I have not yet turned this thing on. So, hopefully it is not recording or transmitting any data right now. But I was wondering if I could get you and your pals to open this thing up and see how it works and why. Because they're suddenly everywhere and I didn't see any before last week. And I find that very troubling. Yes, I've been hearing an awful lot about these things. You're right. They did seem to arrive on the market suddenly with very little hype beforehand, as if they had just materialized. Yeah, I was talking to your colleagues at the quantum lab. I know, yeah, they're annoyed with me too right now, but it was sort of suggested that maybe there might be some time travel stuff going on. Like, maybe this company literally didn't exist 2 weeks ago. I see. Yeah, it's probably dangerous. They're already using it to do paradox crimes, and I really don't have the time or energy to patch holes in reality right now. So if you could help me find a way to make it so that this never was. You see? Paradox. Oh, gives me a headache. Yes, the grammar of time travel is fascinating, but you'd have to talk to the language department about... I'm not really interested in the linguistics right now. Thank you, Professor.
So I shove this mercenary into the wall, and she hits it, and she, like, grunts and then grins, and she's like, huh, didn't know they had muscle like you. And I think I say, like, it isn't muscle, and pull a couple of random objects up to, like, rotate around my hands, and she rolls her eyes. The mercenary is resistant to skill, not impressed by that, and so, like, I'm not going to be, more broadly, that means cannot be, is harder to win roles against, right, with shows of skill, but I'm going to also take that to mean that she's kind of just like, ugh. So I have objects rotating my hands, and she rolls her eyes, and I'm like, excuse me? And she's like, what is her beef here? It's, yeah, I should have known. Of course it's not muscle. It's just tricks. It's exactly why I wanted to take this job. I mean, the money's good, don't get me wrong, but also, I'm just sick of it. People like you never work for anything. You just have your little tricks, and your spectacle, and your gadgets, and that shit just flows out of towns like these. And so yeah, I don't really care about the bigger picture of what I'm here for. And I try to interrupt. I'm like, yeah, what bigger picture? And she just ignores that. And she's like, honestly, I just wanted to see this place burn to the ground. Even the playing field for the rest of us. And I think she's going to try and, like, attack me, right? And so I'm going to roll power to just try and defend myself. I am using my signature ability in that, like, she tries to take me by surprise and knock me over, and I'm trying to just lock myself down to the ground so that she can't, like, get that advantage. This is resisted because I have the streak mark on power because I just succeeded on a roll with it. But yeah, so I'm going to roll 3d6 and I need to get a 6. 1, 3, 2. Nope. I'm going to mark an experience and a destruction. And I think it's just that, like, my center of gravity is all disrupted, right? Because it's in the middle. I'm doing this as a reaction to her trying to knock me over, and I'm a little bit too slow. And so I accidentally, like, kind of help her, and we just crash really hard into the ground and knock a bunch of shit over. And she, like, laughs.
You want me to dissect your little robot dog, yeah? I guess if gadgets is a skill roll, then this is a skill roll. I don't think my talking to dogs powers is going to help with not a real dog. Dice are not on my side today. I'm going to go super and roll an extra die. Actually, it seems that this part of the hardware is based on how an actual dog communicates. I've seen this neurological wiring before in my veterinary studies. That's very interesting. Let's see if that helps us understand this a little better. I rolled a 2. This game is stressful. Okay.
Things are going really, really badly for this character in general, to the point where, like, I am losing my mind a little bit. So I can't... I mean, skill is already resisted, but, like, I'm gonna try and use... I've got one ability in heart, but I do get an extra dice here because I failed that roll. So I'm gonna try heart and see what happens. That's a 5. All right, that's a success. I'm able to, like, I think what I'm trying to do is, like, rally the security guard and, like, talk with them to, like, be like, hey, we need to get people out of here. This is a disaster area. So that's an extra point of progress. That was an unopposed roll, so no experience. I'll tally my experience at the end of the round. But I think that, like, at this moment, I'm, again, rolling 5 dice here to try and, like, strategically put out the fire so that we can get people out of the danger zone safely. God, thank goodness that was a 6. It's 4 not 6s and a 6. That's at least what I needed. That's a 3rd point of progress to, like, control the fire with my abilities. And no, I'm going to keep rolling for at least one more progress because I think there is a heart thing at play here, which is, like, playing up the part of the menace hero. Like, this guy using his powers and being like, look, people aren't going to like me, but you know what? They haven't liked me so far, and I'll work with it. So I'm going to roll 3 dice. I just need a 5. That's a 5. Great. That's a 2, 3, 5. Okay, we're doing good.
And I think the thing I'm going to do here is that, like, so she is, like, she's gotten me down to the ground. She's pulling her fist back to just beat the shit out of me. And I look up at her and I'm like, do you not think you're special? And she hesitates, like, confused and angry. And is like, what? And I'm like, I don't know, all that stuff you were saying about, like, people with powers or abilities and gadgets and stuff, like, being all special and above it all or whatever, like, you don't think you're special? And I'm gonna roll heart here. And if I succeed, she's not gonna punch me. If I don't succeed, she's definitely gonna punch me very hard. I don't think I'm using my ability, so this is just straight 2d6. Need a 5 or a 6. Yes, got a 6 and then a 1, but doesn't matter. Go up to 4 progress. It gets to her. She wavers and sputters, and she's like, do I think I'm that is, of course, well, I'm not, but I don't, that isn't the point. And I'm like, what do you mean it isn't the point? Of course it is. Of course you're special. You were hired for this, right? Like, this is a big important job. You must be good at what you do. And she, you know, just, yeah, sure. I can beat up a bunch of dorks in lab coats. What does that really matter? And I shrug. Still on the floor. I'm like, I mean, to be honest, it sounds like you're not using it for anything particularly good, so maybe it doesn't mean a lot, but that's something you have the power to change.
And I'm trying to, like, scare people away so that I've got some time to investigate. Theoretically, I am rolling 4 dice here to solve Crystal's problem of, like, helping her launch this project and, like, helping her, like, ship this machinery for whatever shady thing that she's working on. So I think what I'm going to do is roll skill. I'm going to call this skill to see if I can like make that look like it was successful while also getting what I want. And that is a 6. That is exactly what I wanted. Which is great. That is a 1, 3, 4, 6, which means that is a success. That is a second point of effectiveness. And that was a contested roll, so that's a point of experience. Okay, great.
Computer scientist didn't help me. Quantum scientist didn't help me. But we've discovered a connection between the robot dog and the real dog. Maybe I need to go to my own personal mentor in the veterinary medicine department. Maybe the knowledge of real dogs actually can help us. Well, at least this time I'm on first name terms with the professor. Hey, Dr. Jen? Yeah, this is Merle. I have a weird question. I've been talking with our mutual friend, the Blue Shepherd. Yeah. Okay, mutual acquaintance. Yeah. And they suggest that your help might be needed. Yeah, there's time traveling dog robots. I know it doesn't sound like our usual wheelhouse, but yeah, I know, but it seems like their neurology is based on actual dogs, and I'm just a general vet tech student. I am not an expert dog brain surgeon like you are, so I thought maybe you could take a look at this afternoon. Oh, that'd be fantastic. Thanks. Click.
I could try to roll to defeat her right now, but I would probably be rolling heart and it would be resisted. And I don't want to put myself in that situation. So I'm going to extend the scene a little bit longer before I do that, cuz I can. So she's sitting on top of me and still has her fist raised, and she's like thinking, and she's very like disarmed by what I've said, but she like shakes her head and comes back to it and goes to punch me anyway, and I'm gonna try and just shove her off with a power roll, also using my ability. So 3d6, need a 5 or a 6, got a 3 and a 5 and a 6, so I'm good. Move my streak, add progress. Yeah, she goes to punch me anyway, and I just shove her off. She goes flying across the room again, but I think catches herself on her feet this time, and she has like a slight grin, and she's like, all right, you don't have muscle, but you got a little bit of a bite to you, huh? And I'm gonna try and defeat her right now. I'm gonna do a heart roll, or rather, I'm gonna do a roll for like I've got 5 in progress. So I'm gonna roll 5d6. I'm using heart. I'm trying to continue our conversation and be like, burning this place to the ground won't do anything to make the people here any less special. It won't make me any less special. It won't make you any more special. But it doesn't have to. You already have the ability to do anything you want. You just gotta choose to do better stuff. And I'm gonna roll to try and convince her to just give up on this job, basically. So I'm rolling 5d6, and I need a 5 or a 6. I rolled a 6 right away, and a 5, and another 5, and a 4, and a 3. Hell yeah. So get an achievement in heart. Move my streak there. And she just like, she's been carrying this tension, and she's just staring hard into my eyes, and she just relaxes a little, and she's going to be like, honestly, I am sick of dickheads with the most money in the world ordering me around anyway, so yeah, fuck it. We should take care of the Doom device though. And I'm like, the what?
So listening back and running the numbers, I think I've got 3 experience out of that, which is not as much as 8 experience like I got yesterday, but like that's a start. But like there is an explosion, and in the aftermath of the giant explosion at the docks, the Cronenberg Foundation is just like, well, thankfully everyone got out safe.
While I prepare for my meeting later this afternoon, I can have another trouble strike and roll to help a neighbor, and maybe that'll give me some inspiration on how else to do this.
We're going to roll 3d20 to find out the crime that we're going to be fighting against. An 18, a demon tyrant. A 5 is poisoning the water reservoir. And a 4 and an army of alien juggernauts. Here's the thing. If I swap that, it turns into building a Doom device with an army of ghosts. And that's pretty great. That's pretty exciting. Demon Tyrant's great. I want to keep Demon Tyrant. Because what is really compelling about that is the idea that, like, a Demon Tyrant is specifically, like, whatever extra dimensional thing, like, emerged to try and, like, pluck someone that had been, like, activated with these powers and kind of, like, lit up like a beacon by whatever gauntlet they were wearing.
We've got a protective entrepreneur. No, they're not protective. A protective artist rebuilding their business. Is this just Emerald again? No, Ms. Emerald definitely rebuilt her business. Oh, maybe it's a friend of Ms. Emerald.
There's like an active party, and this is neighbourhood. Neighbourhood is the demon lord of this like energy dimension that is like warping the laws of reality and has like found a way to emerge. So elsewhere in the city, there is like a Cronenberg Foundation laboratory, very, very upside down, very Stranger Things, like researching whatever this demon dimension is, when suddenly things just start going haunted house. You know, like people are getting thrown into walls, and like whatever contact is made with this other dimension is like lashing out in the very real, very tangible way. And this sort of like demon prince is on the other side, like using ghostly minions to try and like punch through and gain control to really like open up a through line into this particular place.
Ring, 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 ring. My phone? My phone? Hello? Hi. This is Megan Diamond. I'm a friend of Beryl Emerald's. I heard you were able to really help her get her finances back on track. Well, you know that explosion 3 weeks ago that you and Vampire stopped? Well, the squib that did go off badly damaged some of my art pieces, and now I say no more. Click. Go over to Ms. Diamond's art studio. I know that with Miss Emerald you helped her rebuild her business, but here I need you to literally rebuild my business. No offense, ma'am, but have you considered maybe a carpenter or a construction firm and not your local detective? Oh, you know the construction industry in this town is all mobbed up. I couldn't trust them. I just need, like, a big, strong helping hand. Or paw, as it may be.
She brings me into, like, the heart of the telescope. And she shows that she had been setting up this, like, laser thing that was going to be amplified through the telescope to explode the town, but also probably a bunch of the world. Or take out all the satellites or something. And this is slightly canon confusion. She's like, honestly, I didn't ask. And I'm like, you didn't ask. And she's like, no, I know, I get it. I'm changing my ways. I'm like, oh, come on. You have a lot longer to go than I thought. And she like shrugs amiably. And I ask her like, how do I dismantle it? And she doesn't know. And I'm going to try and just destroy it. It's a metal cube that has been slotted into the telescope. I'm going to take it out. And I'm going to try and crush it with my gravity powers. That's a power roll. With my ability, it's a 3d6. Got a 4. I got a 3. I got a 6. There we go. That goes to 6 progress.
So I've got to stop. I realize I played the game slightly wrong last time. I kind of blurred together the method and leader, but I have to stop the method and then the leader. So I think I become aware of this because I'm tracking Cronenberg Foundation, like, people and, like, the technology in this gauntlet that was, like, pulling power from this other dimension. I am, like, tracking this back to their facility, and I kind of arrive with the facility already in ruin. Like, the staff here are already dead, and, like, I'm gonna roll mind here to, like, surmise what has happened here. The thing that is oppositional here, or that they're resistant to here, is power, so mind is unopposed. Get a 5 or a 6. That's a 5 and a 1. That's what I needed. That's a 5. That's a success. It's very funny for this person to arrive here, look around, and just mutter like, oh, this is some haunted house shit. Okay. Got it. Okay. That's not good.
So, my personal power stat is low, but they did suggest that a helping paw might suffice. So let's try and call a large, sturdy dog that can help with the heavy lifting. Perhaps a Saint Bernard of some kind, or a Great Dane. Come on, dice, please. Yay, the dice like me, finally. Woof. Woof, woof, woof. Thank you, Mr. Cuddles. I'm so delighted you were able to help us on such short notice. Woof. Mr. Cuddles, the Saint Bernard, kind of noses the planks in the right direction. We hitch a harness up to him, and he can carry a dolly and carry around the heavy things that Ms. Diamond and I collectively could not. And so, with the assistance of our big, strong doggo friend, we are able to fix the shop front. No, not shop front. It's a art studio. We are able to fix the front of the building just in time for me to make my meeting with Dr. Jen at the veterinary medicine department. Yay!
I think like using skill and power, so 5 dice, we are going to try and like, because I think that like when we arrive here, the ghosts like are operating the machines to try and get like the gateway up and running, and I'm going to try and shut down some of those machines by freezing some. I've tried fire a couple times and it hasn't gone great. I'm going to go the opposite route and try freezing some of these things to like shut down the machine. And that's a 5. There's a 5 and a 6 in that pool, so that actually goes way better. And I'm able to like freeze and shut down the machinery without causing a massive fire. That's a win. I think that's a big win. That's a point of progress. We're making it. We're close. We've got 2 progress. I'm going to try and get like 2 more.
So I guess calling in a friend who happens to be a dog neurosurgeon. Well, I'm relying on their skill, but my heart, I think, which sucks because heart is, as we've established, not a good stat for me, but wish me luck, everybody. This is our 3rd attempt. That's a 3. Yeah, it's just a little too different from a modern dog. I can't make heads or tails of this. You said you already spoke to the comp sci team? Yeah, they weren't able to help me either. I don't know. I think you might need to try something outside of the ivory tower. Yeah, you're right. It seems like, no offense, going to the experts hasn't really helped at all. Regroup, rethink, find a new and creative solution to this problem.
I do think that now, like, ghostly hands and spirit forms, like, lash out and strike directly, which means that I've kind of got to roll power here. So I'm going to roll 3d6. I want a 6. That's 3 5s. That's absurd. I'm going to roll an additional 2 dice to go super here. And I'm glad I did, because that's a 1 and a 6. So I've used my super point. And, like, I use my powers to their full capacity to, like, take control of this. I think now's the time to bring out the fireworks. Like, I think I am, like, warding off ghosts as though I were a monster hunter with a torch, like, just lighting things on fire and throwing fireballs and blocking things and, like, rushing for the gate. I'm trying to decide if I want to roll progress now. I think I'm going to do 1 more because I think I want to find a way to jam it. I think my power is available, and power is not an opposed skill. So I'm going to roll my 5 dice here and see if I can't, like, permanently shut down this gate so that the demon prince can't get through. That's 3 5s on that roll. So that is a huge success, and I'm able to, like, shut off the thing, blocking the sort of ghost dimension.
I'm going to disable the laser traps with a heart roll by turning to her. Like this is the doomsday device. It's also lasers all over, you know. There's a lot of stuff going on here. And I'm going to turn to this mercenary and give her a hard look and say, like, you need to go around and disable all of the traps and dangerous shit that you've put in this telescope. And she's like, what? No, I want to leave and start my new life and whatever. And I'm like, that's not how this works. Prove to me that you're going to be cool. And she's like, fine. Maybe she's like, fine. We'll see. I'm going to roll related to the heart attribute. And I'm rolling 66 because I have 6 progress points. Pretty good. 5 right away, so we're good. 5, 3, 3, 5 again. 2, 2. Great. So she is like, yeah, I'm going to be a good person now. And I'm marking a point of inspiration, an achievement in heart. And she's going to go around and disable all the traps. We're good to go.
So neighbourhood, the demon prince of the power dimension, is not able to like physically break through. I've got 4 progress. I'm going to roll this and see if we get what we need. That is 2 6s. We're going to call this is mind. And also because I fudged things earlier, I've got a 3rd point in mind, I think makes sense. So I'm at 3 control, which is very, very good. Matches the 3 destruction that I have. Oh boy, has it not been great.
All right, so here's my thought. I learned from the last time that over-preparedness doesn't actually seem to help me at all in this game, even though mind is supposedly the one I'm good at. So I'm going to just try and fuck up Mr. Time Machine himself. I think, what if we get this guy's time vehicle and we throw it into the rift in the space-time continuum that's been opened by these constant robot dog-shaped paradoxes. Maybe throw the robot dog in, too, for good measure. This is going to have to be either a power and then a skill, or 2 power rolls. First, to overpower. Did I ever give the warlord a name, by the way? Part of me really wants to say Genghis Spawn. Yeah. Let's just go with it. All right. So I'm gonna go, and me and my buddy vampire, so 1 extra die, are gonna go physically fight this time-traveling robot-making guy. I figure even though he is technically a warlord, he's a warlord that relies on technology, so we're probably not that unevenly matched in a physical fight. Although he has robot dogs, and I just have a regular dog. But that's okay. My dog's bigger. Would you rather fight 6 Chihuahua-sized robot or 1 robot-sized Chihuahua? Am I right? All right, let's roll. Yay! A successful dice roll! That's been so rare in this game. I gain a progress point for that. And since he resists power rolls, I also gain an experience for that. Hell yeah. I like this.
Like, I think that the machines are shut off, but I still have to deal with neighbourhood, and I think that the way that's going to happen is, like, a confrontation over, like, the computer communicators. Like, the gate is closed, but, like, I need to communicate with neighbourhood in a way that is going to, like, stop him from enacting his plan or, like, forcing his way through a different gate. Cool. That's rad.
And I'm going to see what the neighbor that needs help is and figure out how that comes up here. The local overworker, superhero fan, age, being to whom time is meaningless. Okay, their trouble is finding a missing person, which I get an extra roll in, extra die for all rolls in. Nice.
I think I'm going to start with a heart roll. Heart's not resisted. I'm going to use my power here. I think it does work, because I've already shown what it can do, and I'm kind of using the knowledge of that power to kind of like come through on the other side. That's a 6, a 3, and a 1. So like we get this grumbling on the other side, and he kind of like flips the communicator and goes, so you've met me. You know what I can do. If you want to come through and get your ass beat, flip the switch back on and come on through. A little bit cocky now that he's in control of the situation, but I like this guy.
We're at the telescope. It's a being to whom time is meaningless. I think that means that this is an alien who works here, who is functionally immortal or whose lifespan is so long that time is meaningless to them relative to people. Maybe they got sort of a jellyfish thing going on, or they're constantly shifting their body. It's the same person technically, but you know, they've completely molted their body 30 times, something like that. Alien, they're an overworker, and they are a superhero fan. I think that they are a fan of my mother's. They do they think I'm cool too, but they ended up here working on Earth because they were like following Alien Mom after she got here. Big fan of her work, and ended up here as well, and then just really dedicated themselves to the cause. And so I go out after the telescope with the mercenary, and I'm like, she disabled all the traps, right? And she's like, yeah. And everybody rushes back in to make sure that everything's okay. And who's missing? I think they're like, oh, hey, Orbit. Have you been able to get in contact with... I really should name the mothers, but like, have you been able to get in contact with Alien Mom? This person doesn't know that she's my mother, but thinks that we're colleagues. It's like, have you been able to get in touch with your colleagues? I sent a few messages today and haven't heard back. I have like a couple pricks of fear. And I'm like, really? I haven't tried. And they're like, okay. I mean, it's just normally they respond to stuff pretty quick and they like shrug. They're probably just busy. They're doing space stuff. And I'm like, right. But I'm gonna try and get in contact with them. Oh, I think, yeah, they're like, maybe the messages aren't sending. Can you go up and adjust the satellite manually?
We overpower him and we grab the remote for his time machine. Got you now, Genghis Spawn. And I'm going to take the remote for the time machine and attach it to the robot dog. And I'm going to pitch that into the rift in space-time. I swear to God, if I lose this roll, I'm going to be so mad. Double threes. Does that count as a 6? Please? 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 No? Aww. All right, let's go super and see if that helps. Hey, buddy, fetch! Nope, that's a 4. It does not land in the space-time. And that undoes all my so-called progress. Ah! All right.
Full disclosure, I just recorded a bunch of stuff here that I am going to delete because I failed at a progress roll and it just felt really bad to erase all of that progress and start again. And so I did this whole complicated thing where I tried to apply the 6 die that I'd rolled to other rolls in like retroactively to be like, okay, I still failed, but I didn't fail at the progress roll. I failed at 3 other rolls. And I'd figured all of that out and then realized that I hadn't been applying the extra die that I should have been for permanently solving the missing person problem. And it was just frustrating and strange. And so superhero genre conventions support me, I think, in just retconning that. But I did want to mention it because usually on the show it's important to me to have the full sort of experience of figuring that stuff out represented. But I think that it wasn't fun to listen to. I think it was just me being frustrated and confused and really struggling to figure out how to make something work in a way that I don't think is like good or interesting radio or a good representation of this game, because again, I am playing it in a very specific situation where I have additional expectations on myself. So I'm cutting that whole section out and I'm doing it again. I'm starting from the beginning of the problem.
So, physically fighting him didn't work. Research didn't work. What other things can occur in a superhero story? Oh, I have a crazy idea, but it just might work. What if we do a team up? What if I call in backup from the next town over? I'm going to roll a new character to come meet me, and I will roll the personality and the superpowers tables, and that will be my rival from the next town over. We have a creative person with a mutation that gives them enhancements. Yeah, I like that. Creative and enhancements. How can I make those work together? Oh, quick reactions, and maybe they're a dancer in their day job. If I'm Blue Shepherd and they are a dancer, so they're probably Black Swan. Yeah, that's kind of obvious. All right, I'm gonna call up Black Swan on my definitely not the Justice League telephone. Yeah, Swan, it's Shepherd. Yeah, I know. I really hate to be doing this. I know. Yes, I know. I told you I wouldn't call you on Saturdays. It's a pretty big emergency we're having here in Golden Pastures. Yeah, I know. She's like, what could possibly be worthy of my attention in Golden Pastures? She's the big city hero from the town of New Kingsford, which is a large metropolis that we are like, I don't know, an hour, 2 hours outside, but faster if you're, a superhero. Black Swan probably can't fly, but she probably has like a Swanmobile jet type thing and can get here quickly. Well, you see, I know you like time and space. That's like where you keep your stuff. So if you could come help us, that would be really appreciated. I can throw in some free special spangly collars from Ms. Emerald's boutique if that'll help sweeten the deal. As if I would need to be bribed to help people. I'm a real superhero, Shepherd. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Thank you. God, I can't stand that girl. Anyway, she's coming. She's gonna help us. I probably should have rolled for that, huh? No. Well, I'm gonna, for the sake of the narrative, say that Swan does come, but is mad at me.
I think Nevlerfood is like kind of like grumbling through and is like, I will find you. I will find everyone you love, and I will flay the skin from your flesh. You will live an eternity of torment. Your dimension, your home, your world is mine for the taking. Is this another heart roll opposed? No, I'm going to call this mind, and here's why. I don't think that this is, like, doing or saying the right thing to motivate them or destabilizing them. I think that this is, like, playing to a plan. This is unopposed, so this is 5 or 6s. I've got 2 dice. Let's see how we do. That's a 5 and a 3. Great. I think what I'm trying to do here is, like, I am, like, playing chess to try and get him to, like, admit what he's after and, like, admit, like, a picture of the larger plan. And I think that he does let slip something of, like, my influence has already bled into your world, and with the right technology, with the right tool at my disposal, and with the right collaborators on the other side, we shall turn these beings infected with my power into beacons lighting the sky and opening the way for my arrival. Just you wait.
Ms. Swan doesn't really like dogs, which is sort of my whole thing. Obviously, she's a bird person. Oh, maybe I will go to Ms. Diamond, the sculptor, and be like, can you make some kind of swan-based art piece? Could I commission that? I have no idea what to roll for this. So I'm just going to roll 2 dice, because that's the midpoint. Hey, Ms. Diamond, would I be able to commission a wrought iron sculpture of a swan in flight? Yeah, I rolled a 6.
It's not the strategic thing to do, in part because it is resisted and also not his strong suit. But I think, like, it has worked exactly the way that he wanted it to, but I do think that we're going to go for a big, large explosion and see what happens. That is 3 dice. We won a 6, and we got a 6. That is 3 dice. That is a 4th point of experience for a resisted roll. Great. Good. I think that he just kind of, like, rears back and says, like, yeah, light this up. Throws a giant fireball, explodes the computer, damages the technology, and we'll see if he's able to sever the connection. I've got 3 dice.
Let's roll heart to see if she likes this gift, huh? Hey, sorry for interrupting your important Saturday yoga retreat or whatever. I recently helped a local artist, and I asked her if she could make something beautiful for you because you're really pretty. And, oh God, did I say that out loud? Oh God. Yes, I'm setting myself up for disaster. I don't care. I'm having fun now. Holy shit, I rolled a 5. You really think I'm pretty? Aw, Shepherd, that's sweet. A black swan statue? Oh, that's so lovely. Aw, sorry I was rude earlier. I'll definitely help you with your time travel problem. Yes. So she's gonna roll her skill. I'm gonna assume that hers is at least a 3. Okay, come on, Ms. Swan. Please, please, please dance your way through the time portal and get rid of this stupid robot chihuahua. One of those is a 5. That's a success. Thank you, Ms. Swan. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I swear I will drop everything to help you the next time something comes up in the city. Yeah, just keep in touch, okay? Yeah, I'll see you at next Thursday's definitely not the Justice League meeting. And maybe we could get dinner after?
There's this alien who's a fan of my mother's. They don't know that they're my mother's. They think that they're just my colleagues. The alien has been trying to get in touch with them and can't. And is like, you know what? Maybe the messages aren't sending. Can you just go up and manually adjust the satellite to make sure that it's like pointed directly at them? And there's like a satellite dish here that is like that should be pointing directly at them, but I'm just gonna go up and like manually adjust it to make sure that it has a good trajectory. Or maybe it should be the receiving satellite. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I'm gonna go over to this satellite dish and manually adjust it so that we know that we're more likely to actually receive messages back, because maybe that's the problem. And I get an extra die for solving this problem because I've solved missing person problems before. And so I am gonna try and just do the progress roll here. I'm gonna roll 7d6. I have 6 progress, get the extra die. I need a 5 or a 6. This alien, as someone who is an overworker, is impressed by skill, and so anything except skill would be resisted here. Luckily, this makes sense. This is like precision movements of a satellite. And fuck it, I'm throwing my signature ability in 2. That's what I'm using to make adjusting the satellite easier. 8d6. I just need any of them to be a 5 or a 6.
Vampire, did you hear that? I have a date with Black Swan after the meeting next Thursday. Wow. I can't even process this right now. We've helped a neighbor. We've thrown a robot dog in a time hole. Did that actually do anything? I'm gonna call my friend back at the college. Hey, professor, did you get your whole robot dog break-in situation sorted out? Are you doing all right, Shepherd? I haven't seen you in 3 weeks. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, thank God.
4, 6, good. 5, also good. 1, 6 again. 5, 2, 6. Okay, that time it made fun of me, and it was like, fine, yes, you'll succeed a lot.
That's a success. Okay, great. Good. Okay, good. Okay, great. Whew. And because I rolled with power, that is a point of security.
I don't think I ever actually figured out in character that A, the dogs were all one dog created through time travel, and B, the time travel was facilitated through the theft. But that's okay. The readers/viewers know all that. The characters just never actually figured it out. Maybe this will come back to haunt us at some point. Maybe it won't. We've erased this whole plot line from the universe.
Yeah, I think that's it. I adjust the satellite and messages come flooding in. And they're like, oh, okay. I just wasn't getting their messages. That was really cool. You're getting really good at using your powers. And I'm like, thanks.
Okay, great. End of day 2.
Again, go and finish my shift, I guess. Pick up some oat milk on the way back to the cafe so that I wasn't technically lying.
At the end of our day, we are going to create a scene to wrap up the day. I think, again, Kelvin meets up with the other guys from the docks at a bar. Like, he meets up, he's late, and people are like, hey, where the fuck have you been? And he's like, I had stuff to do. But, like, he gets to have this moment with the people that he works with. It's, like, a nice, calm moment, but, like, he's very clearly, like, looking over his shoulder and being like, who else has these powers? I know there are people out there, and I need to find them before the Cronenberg Foundation does.
Now, I can spend experience points. I have 11. I can earn an achievement, increase an attribute by 1 point, acquire a new signature ability. I think I want another attribute point. Do I want to bring mind up to 2 or put one of my other ones up to 3? I think I want to put one of my other ones up to 3. Either skill or power. Oh, this is tough. I'm going to roll for it. Evens, power, odds, skill. Odds. Skill. Great. Yep. I'm going to go up to 3 points in skill. And I'm doing a bunch of training, learning how to be more precise with my, because I keep having to throw stuff. It turns out. So
now we are going to finish our day by solving a problem. I think that in this case, the one to solve is probably the rips in space-time. The paradox is gone. Nobody remembers that it happened. We're all moving on. Yay!
I'm gonna pick another crime goal and pick the, like, I know this demon. Like, I know this demon's deal, and, like, I'm ready to have this fight.
I believe that my neighbor trouble has already been permanently solved. It was trying to find a missing person, right? I think. Recording this a little while later. So I will solve the crime goal, which was build a Doom device. In the future, if anybody else tries to build a Doom device, get some extra die to defeating it.
And I would like to up my stats a little, so I'm going to hold on to these 4 experience points this time. I am still not sure if I'm marking experience properly, but I'm at 4, and I'm going to leave it there for now.
This has gone in a direction that I'm, like, very excited about, and we're going to see how this goes.
Wow. I love games.
Yeah. Night-night. This has been Folio, an actual play podcast about solo and otherwise self-paced TTRPGs. To find where you can find the show, check out foliopod.card.co. You can find Gwen at Gwen Frankenstien on Bluesky. You can find Jeff at partyofonepodcast.com and jeffstormer.com. You can find Satah, that's me, at gaygothvibes.online, and follow me on Bluesky at potatochips.gaygothvibes.online. Next week, Gwen and Jeff and I will continue our games of Friendly Neighborhood Superhero by Cat Scratcher Studio, found at catscratcher.itch.io. Everything I mentioned here is linked in the show notes. Thanks so much for listening, and take care out there.